Imagine waking up, not to the sound of an alarm, but to the roar of a hungry predator somewhere in the distance. Your stomach is empty. Your feet are sore. And if you fail to find food today, tomorrow might never come. Welcome to Earth. 15,000 years ago, this was a world with no cities, no medicine, no supermarkets, no coffee, no parties, and definitely no bottles of beer sitting in a refrigerator. Every sunrise was another battle to survive. Now imagine this. After hours of searching through the forest, your tribe finally finds food. Bright, sweet fruit scattered beneath a massive tree. It looks like the luckiest day of your life. Everyone rushes forward. But something feels strange. Some of the fruit is soft, almost melting. Tiny bubbles appear in the juice. The smell is sweet, but also unusual. Most people ignore it. After all, rotten food usually means death. But one curious person does something no one else dares to do. They pick up the strange fruit, take one bite, then another. For a few moments, nothing happens. But then, their legs begin to wobble. Their face turns bright red. They burst into laughter. At absolutely nothing. A few seconds later, they trip over a rock that wasn't even in their way. The tribe freezes. Has the fruit poisoned them? Is this some mysterious disease? Or did a spirit just enter their body? Nobody knows. But what happened next would quietly change human history forever, because that strange fruit contained something humanity had never understood before: alcohol. And believe it or not, no scientist invented it. No king ordered it. No civilization created it. Nature had been making alcohol for millions of years, waiting for one curious human to finally discover it. Curiosity kept humans alive. When we think about ancient humans, we often imagine strong hunters chasing giant animals across endless grasslands. But here's something people rarely talk about. Muscles didn't make humans the dominant species. Curiosity did. Every single day, ancient humans experimented with the world around them. Which berries were safe? Which mushrooms were deadly? Which roots could be eaten? Which flowers attracted bees? Which trees produced the sweetest fruit? Every answer came with a risk. One mistake could kill you. But refusing to explore could also kill you. Curiosity wasn't just a personality trait. It was a survival strategy. Without curious people, human civilization would never have existed. And one day, that same curiosity would lead to one of the strangest discoveries in history. Here's the crazy part. Alcohol existed long before humans did. Long before the pyramids. Long before dinosaurs disappeared. Long before the first cities. Nature had already invented it. Every time sweet fruit falls from a tree, tiny invisible organisms called yeast land on its skin. The fruit becomes their meal. As the yeast consume the natural sugars, they release two things: carbon dioxide and alcohol. No factories, no recipes, no human hands, just nature, quietly performing chemistry every single day. Even today, scientists have watched elephants, chimpanzees, birds, monkeys, and deer eating naturally fermented fruit. Some become unusually playful. Some lose their balance. Some behave in ways that look surprisingly familiar to us. Which raises an incredible question. If modern animals still discover fermented fruit, how many times did ancient humans accidentally find it too? Probably more than once. The first human who got drunk. We'll never know their name. History never recorded it. But imagine their story. Maybe they were a young hunter. Maybe an elderly woman gathering berries. Maybe just someone who hated wasting food. They notice several overripe fruits beneath a tree. The smell is strange, but sweet. They are hungry, so they eat. A few minutes later, something impossible begins happening. Their heartbeat feels different. The world seems lighter. Fear begins fading. The constant stress of survival suddenly disappears. For perhaps the first time in their life, they feel completely relaxed. Then, they laugh. Not because someone told a joke, but because their brain is experiencing something entirely new. The tribe watches in complete silence. No one understands what's happening. Some probably believed the person was cursed. Others may have thought forest spirits had taken control. In a world without science, every mystery needed a supernatural explanation. Yet by sunrise the next morning, the person is perfectly healthy again. Now the mystery becomes even bigger. The strange fruit didn't kill them. It simply changed how they felt. And that made everyone curious. The most powerful question in human history. The next time someone found the same soft fruit, they didn't throw it away. They remembered. Last time, something strange happened. So they tried it again. And once again. The same result. That moment may have been the beginning of one of humanity's greatest strengths. Pattern recognition. Ancient humans couldn't explain fermentation, but they could recognize repetition. The same fruit. The same smell. The same strange feeling. Again. And again. And again. Without realizing it. They had just taken the first step toward chemistry. The greatest discovery wasn't the drink. It was the pattern. The first time it happened, it was an accident. The second time, it became a mystery. But after the third, ancient humans realized something incredible. That strange feeling wasn't random. It always happened when the fruit was soft, sweet, and had been sitting in the sun for days. They didn't know about yeast. They didn't understand chemistry. They had never heard the word fermentation. But they understood something just as powerful. Patterns. And once humans recognize a pattern, history changes. The first experiment. Imagine you're living in a small camp. One afternoon, you collect more berries than your family can eat. Instead of throwing the leftovers away, you leave them inside a hollow tree trunk or a stone bowl. Days later, you return. The fruit has completely changed. Tiny bubbles rise to the surface. The smell is stronger than before. Most people would probably throw it away. But someone remembers. This is what made that hunter act so strangely. So they take another sip. And once again, the warm feeling returns. Now it isn't luck anymore. Now it's repeatable. Without knowing it, humans had just performed one of the first food experiments in history. When curiosity became an invention. Here's what makes humans different from almost every other animal. Many animals accidentally ate fermented fruit. But humans asked a different question. Can we make this happen again? That single question separated us from the rest of nature. Instead of waiting for fruit to fall, people began saving fruit together, crushing it, storing it, leaving it longer, experimenting. Some batches tasted terrible. Some turned into dangerous rot. Others created the same mysterious drink. Every failure taught them something. Every success became knowledge passed to the next generation. No schools. No books. Just observation. Trial. Error. Memory. That's how civilization learned long before writing existed. The farming revolution changed everything. Then, around 12,000 years ago, human history took another massive turn. People slowly stopped wandering. Instead of chasing food, they started growing it. Fields of barley, wheat, rice. For the first time, families had extra grain stored after harvest. And suddenly, humans had something they had never truly possessed before. Enough food to experiment. Instead of only fermenting fruit, they began mixing crushed grain with water. They left it inside clay pots. Days passed. The liquid began bubbling. It smelled different, looked different, and when they drank it, they discovered something completely new. Beer. Not the clear golden drink you know today. Ancient beer was thick, cloudy, sometimes filled with bits of grain. You could almost eat it. Yet people loved it, because it was unlike anything they had ever tasted. The world's first brewers. Nobody called themselves a brewer. Nobody understood microorganisms. Yet generation after generation, people became experts without realizing it. They learned that warmer weather sped up the process. They noticed clean containers produced better drinks. Some added honey. Others added fruit. Every village created its own recipe. Thousands of years before chemistry became a science. Ordinary people were quietly mastering it. One successful recipe became another. Parents taught children. Neighbors shared techniques. Knowledge spread, not through books, but through stories around a fire. More than just a drink. At first glance, alcohol might seem like nothing more than a way to feel different. But for ancient people, it became much more. Imagine an exhausting harvest season. Months of hard work. Finally finished. The village gathers together. Food is cooked. Music begins. Children laugh. Older people tell stories. A clay pot filled with fermented drink is passed from hand to hand. For a little while, everyone forgets how difficult life usually is. That shared experience brought communities closer together. Alcohol became connected to celebration, friendship, marriage, religious ceremonies, and honoring important moments. It wasn't simply about intoxication. It became part of culture. Did ancient people stay drunk all day? This is one of history's biggest myths. Movies often show ancient people drinking constantly. But think about it. Would you want your hunting partner too intoxicated to throw a spear? Would you trust someone building your shelter while barely able to stand? Would farmers ignore their crops for days? Of course not. Survival demanded clear thinking. Alcohol was usually too valuable to waste. Making it required food. Food required work. Most communities treated it as something for special occasions or shared meals, not a reason to stop functioning. Yes, some people almost certainly drank too much. Humans have struggled with excess throughout history. But there is no evidence that ancient societies spent every day intoxicated. If they had, they wouldn't have survived long enough to build civilizations.